Would you like to trade a strategy that has this equity curve? If you do, stick around and I will show you how I built this strategy. It's based on a single candlestick pattern. The candlestick pattern that is used to build this strategy is an extremely simple pattern. It's a rejection candle. Basically, when you have a candle with a long wick, either to the downside or to the upside. This candlestick has a body and an upper wick and a lower wick. So this is we call the bottom wick, and this one is called the body. The body is between the open and the close. And then I have my trusted pattern, which is the internal bar strength. Basically, this measure where the close happens inside the whole range. And the clever way to build the strategy with this pattern is by measuring the ratio of the wick to the body. Because we know that this wick can be very long, very short. The body can be at the top or at the bottom. So by combining the ratio of the wick to the body and the IBS, you get a really unique pattern. On top of that, we will add the number of patterns that happens in a certain period of bars. So in this case, we are looking at 5 bars, and we will add how many times this pattern happened, and only then we will take the signal. Now, of course, this works on the long side and the short side. So on the long side, you are counting the bottom wicks and comparing it to the body and the IBS. And on the short side, you are counting the upper wicks and comparing it to the body and IBS. And since I'm testing this on the S&P 500, I will only test the long side. But of course, the opposite applies for the short side. Now, the strategy code will be available in the community and you can download it for free. Here are the inputs to optimize. So the first one is long, so I'm testing the long side only, and this is the stop loss ATR multiple. So we're optimizing between 1 and 4. That means I am taking either 1 ATR all the way to 4 ATR as a stop loss, and the same as profit target. And then the buy threshold is the number of patterns that will happen in a certain period of time. Now I fixed the period at 10 bars. So in this case, it's either 1 all the way to 5. And sell threshold, I'm not doing it because we're doing the buy side only. And then the IBS ratio, and this would be where the close happening. IBS runs between 0 and 1, so we will optimize between 0.2 and 0.9. And then the wick to body ratio. So basically we are measuring how long the wick and dividing it by how long is the body. When the wick equals the body, we get 1. If the wick is double the length of the body, we get 2. So I'm optimizing between 0.25 to 2 in a step of 0.25. Now all these combinations come to almost 16,000. So let's optimize. And here are the result of the optimization. So let's filter the 16,000. We don't want anything below $100 on the S&P. And I don't want to trade anything that produced less than 100 trades. So that's filtered the 16,000 down to 5,000. So it's almost 33% of the strategies having more than 100 trades and more than $100 on average. In fact, we can sort on the average trade. We can see we have 275 all the way to 100. And then if I sort by net profit, so this is the highest profit. And I just want to bring your attention why testing is so important. So let's look at the wick body ratio. When I was testing the strategy, in my head, I thought the long wicks compared to the body of the candlestick will produce the best results. Because in theory, that means the sellers were trying to push the price down, and then the buyers came in and bought the price, and that's why you have the long wick. But that's why testing is so important, because in testing, I found it's the opposite action. So look at this. The top net profits is produced where the wick to body ratio is 0.5. That means the length of the wick is half the length of the body. And in fact, I can keep scrolling and you can see it's 0.5, 0.25, 0.75, and it's only above 1 when we go all the way down. And look at this, the lowest profit is when the wick is almost twice as the body. So this solidifies the idea of testing all the time. It doesn't matter where you hear about the strategy or how you build it or where do you read about it. Testing is always the best way to know where the strategy sits. And you see here that the top 1,000 strategies producing above $125,000. Now, of course, we can look at the stable areas and so on and so forth, but that's not of an interest to me. Let me pick number 10 here. And this is the strategy. Let's see. So we have almost 1,000 trades. That is a lot of trades. On average, we're making $200. On average, we are sitting 3 bars in a trade. Strategy making 190, 27,000 drawdown. So we're making 7 to 1. An annual period since 2006. We have a little bit of loss 2008, less in 2009. The biggest is 2011 and 2016. And since 2018, we are on a roll. And in fact, this year up to June, which is when I'm recording this video, we had 28 trades and we made $22,000, 57 win percent. Now at this implementation, the stop loss is 1 ATR. So that's very close to hit, which is okay because we are doing a mean reversion strategy. And the profit target is 2.5 ATRs. And you need to always work that in. So you need to pay attention. You don't want both of them to be close because then you need to test on intraday to find out if that strategy is behaving properly. If you're testing on daily bars, you need to keep them further apart so they don't hit both at the same time. Also, the strategies that we picked had 3 patterns happening in 10 bars. And the pattern is the wick is half the body and the IBS is above 0.4. That means the close usually is high. So it's around half the range. So 0.4 and above, around half the range. Now I am using the RSI 2 above 65 to exit the trade. RSI 2 is a really good short-term exit strategy. I know we have stop loss and profit target, but usually the RSI 2 is extremely fast. So above 65 usually happens in a day. And that's why you saw that our average holding period is 3 days. The only thing I want to add now is a filter to this strategy. And again, since I'm using the RSI, I might as well add the RSI. So since this is a mean reversion strategy, it makes sense that the RSI should be low. So I'll just add a filter for the RSI below 50 and let's see what that produces. So this is the original strategy. We're making 7 to 1, 190,000 profits and $27,000 drawdown. And our average trade is $200. And if I add the RSI 2 below 50 and let's compile, and we can see that half the trades are gone. That's really a good filter. Also, we increased our percent profitable to 70% and we more than double the average trade. So this is huge enhancement to the strategy on many metrics. And if I want to go back now to the performance, that's even like the icing on the cake. Now I'm making also more money. So half the trades, half the drawdown, double the average trade. So I'm making more money. And now this gone to 11. And let's look at our curve. And of course, now the curve is smoother. We have a period of non-performance. This is 2015 all the way to almost 2019. So about 4 years where we didn't do anything. But, you know, the drawdown is not that big because we enhanced the drawdown. Now, you might think that this performance came from the RSI and not the rejection candle pattern. So the only way to figure that out is we need to remove the candle pattern and test the RSI alone and see what that produces. So going back to the strategy, now I will disable the candlestick rejection pattern. So now basically we are going long when the RSI below 50 and let's see what that produces. So it's still very good, 142, but our drawdown is 62. So our return to drawdown ratio, it's 2. So we went from 11 to 2. Also, if I look at the trade analysis, we increase our number of trades, we reduce our average, we reduce our profitability. So definitely the RSI is not the driver of the strategy in this case. So that's really encouraging to me. That means the filter, it's really a filter, and it has a huge effect on the strategy by enhancing about 6 or 7 metrics. To learn more about candlestick patterns, make sure to watch this video, and I will see you there.